Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. Last week's video I kind of showed you one load of mixing feed for our milking cows. I thought today I'd take you through all the ingredients, kind of show them to you up close, and then maybe show you in the barns what the different mixes that we're feeding to the different groups of cows look like, and kind of show you the difference between like a milking cow ration and a dry cow ration. I'm here by our alfalfa baleage now. That's the first ingredient we always put in for our milking cows. There was one batch of baleage in particular that I want to talk about today. Some of you that have been watching since the beginning, you would have known it was really dry here last summer. So one of the things that came out of that was some incredible baleage. This batch of baleage that we're feeding here is close to 30% protein and around 300 relative feed value, which is by far the best baleage that we've ever fed. This baleage was made by a farm that we've been working with for over 10 years. They provide us with square bales of baleage. These are the bales right here. So typically we would feed two batches of baleage together, so a higher quality and a lower quality together. So these two rows here would be the better quality, and then those two rows over there, those are a little bit lower quality, so those are about 150 relative feed value. You can really tell just by looking at these bales that this is really good alfalfa. But I printed out the tests to show you guys. So this, I don't know if you, yeah, you should be able to see that. So this test here, 28.89% protein, 290 relative feed value. And every load of baleage that we buy from our two hay growers, the hay grower tests, and then our nutritionist takes another test. And that's this test right here, just to show you guys that it wasn't just a fluke test. It's this one was 29.6 protein, 314 relative feed value. So that's, yeah, pretty incredible numbers. The reason that is because it was super dry. We got some rain, the alfalfa came back and grew really quickly, and then they cut it about 2 weeks after because it was around the middle of September, and you don't want to cut alfalfa too late in the year because then you can risk damaging the stand if it freezes early. Yeah, they didn't have the numbers of total bales that we would have liked, but the quality was extremely good this year for baleage, so we were pretty happy with that. From here, I'll take you through the ingredients that you saw me loading last week. So I'm in the first bay here, starting on the west. So this bay is ground corn, basically just dry corn that's ground fairly fine, or as fine as they can make it at the plant that we get it from. We don't feed any dry corn to the majority of our milk cows. We feed some to our fresh pen to give them a little bit more. My dad's making noise over there. We feed that to our fresh pen and our pre-fresh pen to give them a more consistent starch product, I guess. And our second bay, this is canola meal. So there's a canola processing plant in Velva, North Dakota, where they crush canola for canola oil. And a byproduct of that is canola meal. So this is a protein source for our cows, the main protein source in our ration. We'll go into the next bay here now. It's getting close to empty. They have to bring us a load here tomorrow, I think. So this is wheat midds. Here in Carrington, there is a pasta plant where they make all different kinds of pasta. And a byproduct of that is these wheat midds, and they press it into pellets. This is mainly a fiber source. It's also got some starch and some protein left in it. Yeah, all of these feeds that I'm going to be showing you here today, we've been feeding all of these for a long time. North Dakota has a lot of good byproducts available from different industries that would otherwise go to waste if they were not fed to cattle. So we're in our next bay here. So this is our mineral vitamin mix. There's also some little bit of protein in here and a little bit of fat as well. So this This mineral mix, like I had mentioned in that feeding video, is for all of our lactating milking cows. We do have separate minerals for our calves, our heifers, and our 2 batches of dry cows. We're in the next bay here. This is corn distillers from ethanol plant in Jamestown here, about 45 minutes away from us. It's a byproduct from ethanol made from corn. And this, it's mainly a protein source. It also has some energy in it as well. We have 2 bays of that, and the reason that is, so we feed a wet corn distillers. So we'll feed one bay all the way empty and then go to the other bay, and then they'll drop loads in back and forth. We want to make sure that we're making the bay empty all the time, especially in the summertime. Otherwise this product can start to mold. If it sits in the bay too long, it can start to mold. So yeah, going through some of these feeds, I'm definitely not a nutritionist, so if I make a mistake about something, or if I'm not explaining a feed quite 100% right, yeah, don't hold it against me. I'll try to explain as best as I can. Maybe one day we can have a video together with our nutritionist, and he can give you a more scientific explanation of exactly what's in all the feeds and how it works in our rations. But I have a pretty good understanding, I guess, or at least as much as I think I need to know. We're walking over to our beet pulp pile here now. So this is wet pressed beet pulp. So in eastern North Dakota, there's a lot of beet processing for the sugars, and this is a byproduct of that. So this isn't available to us all the time, but we do like to feed it when it is available, typically from early fall into maybe the middle of spring. Yeah, end of March, April. Sometimes they'll even go later than that, but kind of depends on the availability of beets that they have at the plants and what the quality of the pulp is. It tends to not be as good once they get later into the processing season. There's some energy in there and a little bit of protein, and it's highly digestible, and I think the cows really like the beet pulp. It still has a little bit of the sugars left in there as well, so yeah, it's a good addition to the ration. And we typically will take some corn silage out and feed some beet pulp when it's available, and when it's not, we'll up our corn silage a little bit to make up for the lack of beet pulp, I guess. So just walking over to our earlich pile here now, and you guys have seen this before, but I'll show you quickly. So this is the earlich. That's mainly our starch in the ration, but there's also some fiber in there from the plant. And then of course our corn silage pile here. It's been pretty warm here the last couple of days, kind of starting to feel like spring. So this is our corn silage. A little bit less windy over here in our commodity shed. I think I might have to invest in a better mic, because it seems like every time I want to make a video outside it's windy. But the corn silage, it's got a little bit of protein, a little bit of starch, and that's the main fiber part of our ration. And then we feed some straw and some ryegrass straw to our dry cows and our calves and heifers, and that's mainly in big squares. This is our ryegrass straw, so it's combined rye or Italian ryegrass, and then they bale the straw and we'll feed that. And then this would be I believe this is wheat straw, so we'll feed that to our heifers and dry cows as a fiber for their diet. So now we'll head over to the feed bunks and I'll show you the difference of the different feeds. And so I'm in our shop. I forgot to talk about the molasses. So this is a product from QLF, Quality Liquid Feeds, and it's basically a byproduct from the cane sugar industry. Plus it's got a little bit of fat mixed in there also, and makes the ration taste a little bit better, and especially for our fresh cows, gives them a little bit of an extra energy boost. We feed quite a bit more to our fresh cows than we do our other lactating cows, but they all get some in their mix. we'll yeah, we'll head over to the barns now. So now I'm in the barn where you saw me unload that load of feed in the last week's video. So this is what all those feeds look like mixed up. The majority of our ration is corn silage, and then the next biggest part of it would be the alfalfa baleage. And then all those other ingredients that I showed you, they're mixed in based on what the cow's needs are, what our goals are for milk production, I guess. So our nutritionist, he comes every 2 weeks to our farm to look at the cows, look at their manure, go over our milk records, you know, what we've been shipping for pounds, butter, fat, and protein. Kind of make sure that we're in the right window for our cows, to make sure that they're getting the right nutrition that they need. So I'm in our heifer barn now. So our we call it our calf ration. The calves are heifers from about 4 months old to about 10-ish months old. They get this ration. This is what it looks like. It's got some of that ryegrass hay that we talked, or that I showed you, straw, some corn silage, earlage, and then mineral. And then as they get a little bit older, looks very similar to what this looks like, but it is a little bit of a different ration once they get to about a little before breeding age, I suppose, at about 10-11 months. That's this right here, so you can't really even tell the difference in the bunk, but these are the group of heifers from about 10-11 months old to 18 months old. They get the feed left over from our milking cows, plus they get some of that ryegrass straw, and a little bit of silage, depending on how much weighbacks or how much feed we had left from our cows the previous day. So depending on where that number is, they get more or less silage to balance this ration, basically. So we'll head over to our dry cows now, our far off dry cows, and look at what they have in their bunk. But as you can see, this is quite a different ration from what our milking cows are getting. These heifers are basically getting more or less of a filler, something to fill their bellies. We don't want them to get all that high-powered food that our milking cows are getting, because they'll get too fat, and then we're gonna have health issues with them. It's really all about finding the right balance for each group of animals, to make sure that they're growing but not growing too fat. And that's the same goes for our dry cow ration, which is where we'll go next. So on the right here, this is that Did you guys get that? So this ration on the right here, this is the same as that heifer ration that I just showed you. And this on the left, this is our far off dry cow ration. Again, looks very similar. A lot of forage in here, ryegrass straw and straw mixed together with has a little bit of distillers in here, mineral. And yeah, like I was saying by the heifers over there, the main thing is that we don't want these cows getting too fat, because then they're gonna have issues calving and have issues after calving. So it's yeah, especially around calving time, it's really important that the rations are balanced according to what the cows need, so that once they go from having a calf and into milk production, that we don't have health issues with them, like ketosis, which is an energy imbalance. So we want to make sure that that our cows are in a position health-wise to thrive once going into milk production. So from here we'll head over to our close-up dry cows, and I'll show you that ration. It looks pretty similar to this, but it is a little different. I'll meet you over there in that barn. So we're in our calving barn now. These are our close-up dry cows is what we call them. You can see this ration is still pretty similar to the ration of our far-off dry cows. So these These don't get any straw. They get some grass hay and then the ryegrass straw, corn silage, canola meal, the ground corn that I showed you, a little bit of distillers, and these gals get a pretty specific vitamin mineral mix. The mix is actually still based on a mix that we used in the Netherlands and in Canada. That really worked for us there, and yeah, like I said, we're still the mix that we're using today is based off of that, with of course some adjustments here and there based on our cows here in the US. This ration is really important to get right because it's what they're going to eat for about 3 to 4 weeks prior to calving. So we're really trying to set them up here to have their calf and then go into milk production. So those would be the main rations on our farm. As you can see, there's quite a difference from milking cows to calves, heifers, dry cows. Some of you guys have asked about our specifically about exactly how many ingredients are in some of these rations, so I thought I could share that quick with you on our milking cow ration. Our nutritionist just sent us a new ration here for a new baleage we're going to be going to here in a couple days. So I've got it on my phone here. So we're feeding about 13.5 to 14 pounds. So these are all ass-fed pounds, so not dry matter pounds, ass-fed pounds. 13.5, 14 pounds of baleage. 3.5 pounds of canola meal, about 4.5 pounds of our mineral vitamin mix, 3 pounds of wheat mids, about 15.5 pounds of earlage, 9.5 pounds of corn distillers, 15 pounds of beet pulp, about 1/2 pound of molasses, and then about 67 pounds of corn silage. So yeah, like I said, the main part of our ration is our corn silage. And some of you asked what our cost of production is, or some of those price type questions or cost type questions. And that didn't really start the channel to talk about finances in specifically, but I guess I can share with you guys that right now our milking cows, we're feeding them for about 6.5 pounds or $6.5 per 100 pounds. We're trying to make use of all the byproducts that are available here in North Dakota. Always, yeah, trying to keep our feeding costs down. I guess feeding costs are our main costs here on the farm. That dollars per 100 pounds is going to go up here probably towards the end of fall into next year. We like to contract all of our feed, so we're actually feeding wheat mids, canola meal. Our mineral mix is under contract, and we made those contracts fairly early here last fall already, so we've got a pretty good price on all those products. But on the flip side of that, we typically when we contract feed, we also contract milk. So we've got some milk contracted that's for quite a bit less than what milk is today. So I mean, you can never have it both ways. So really our margin is probably not going to change a whole lot from now to when some of those contracts are ending. We're mainly just trying to reduce our risk, I guess, by contracting our feed and our milk together. Yeah, that's yeah, a little bit about our feeds that we're feeding, the different types of mixes that we have. If you guys have any more questions, put them in the comments. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Definitely do more feeding videos in the future. I know a lot of you guys like to see the equipment. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll hopefully see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Someone had asked about how we have our feed delivered in the bays in a couple videos ago, and I figured since I was talking about the feed here in today's video, I'd show you guys quick. They're just delivering a load of distillers here. This is their truck. You can see there's this belt is moving underneath. I'm just gonna pull ahead here. So there's a belt on the floor of the trailer, and it pretty much wraps around the whole trailer, and it pulls the product out the back. We'll see if I can get back there and show you guys. Just about empty here now, but you can see that belt goes all the way down the center of the trailer. Just delivered a load of corn distillers here from the ethanol plant. Now he's empty. He's going to pull ahead and then go in there and clean the last little bit out with the shovel that's on the ends there. That trailer really works well for the guys that bring our feed, because they can bring dry products and wet products. You can't put something like this, corn distillers or beet pulp, in a hopper trailer or in an auger trailer even, because you won't be able to get it out. And with a trailer like this, they can haul all of our dry products and these wet products that we feed. So that yeah, really works well. I guess we have one person that's hauling the majority of our feed. Yeah, I thought I'd show you guys that quick while he was here, and I thought it'd fit in with this video too, I guess.